Oh, lads, today we are back. We are back right now. And yeah, well, obviously, not in my normal setup. So hopefully, well, tomorrow we are back to normal. Tomorrow we will be back to normal. But we're going to be talking about the Atlanta Dream versus Indiana Fever, the game that they played. Before we get on to, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. Thank you guys for, what's that, 9.7k or something. Like we are so close to hitting 10k. It's actually insane. Thank you guys so much for all the support. And it kind of went as I expected to go. The Atlanta Dream, they're better than the Wings right now, but without Ryan Howard, they're still not an exceptionally good team. But it was a game where the Fever came out gunning. They came out gunning in this game. Like 35-point first quarter. Like, it's very rare you can concede 25 points in a quarter in the WNBA. It's 10-minute quarters and be ahead, let alone be ahead by 10. But the team came out gunning. Like Melissa Smith, 21. And this is what the big thing is with this team, is that everyone seems to be scoring on offense. And they're really figuring it out on offense. Defensively, they still are garbage. Like, to say this team is garbage on defense might be like an understatement. But at the end of the day, like, if you are like judging by this team based on their defense, I think they're pretty bad. But the amount of fouls in this game was wild. At one stage, there was 32 minutes in the game, and Atlanta had shot 31 free throws. And it's a really weird one because they were letting both teams away with mauling each other. And then they would, like, a Fever player would hack a Dream player, nothing would be called. And then a Fever player would, like, miss a layup and no one would be near them and it would be a free throw. It's just a weird game. I think WNBA refs are incompetent. Like, I genuinely just think they're terrible at their jobs. I don't think necessarily that there's any sort of, like, situation where they're trying to be bad. I think they're just terrible. I think they're just absolutely terrible. But yeah, it's really not great now for talking about that. But for the Fever, Mitchell was really good again. She's scoring so efficiently now. She makes quick decisions. She's very good. Like, Melissa Smith offensively is exceptional. Defensively is still horrendous. Like, when I mean horrendous, I mean absolutely horrendous. She is so poor on defense, but at the same time, she makes up for it on offense. Aaliyah Boston just got herself into a bit of foul trouble, 5 fouls in that game, and did, like, anytime she went at Tina Charles, it seems that she was getting her she was getting what she wanted. She hit 5 of 5. She shot 100% of the field. It's just foul trouble kept her out of the game at times, and they kind of went with a more run and gun offense today, which is mad because they went all post-centric last time. So they've gone post-centric they went run and gun against a team they went post-centric against last time, and both times have yielded wins, which is really good for the Fever. And look, they won 4 games in a row, so clearly what they're doing is working. And for the Atlanta Dream, Tina Charles was exceptional. I'm just looking at this right now. Alicia Gray was 4 of 17. Obviously 9 of 10 the free throw line. I did not watch most of the first quarter. I'd say I missed the first 8 minutes or so of the game, which is obviously when the Fever looked like they were at their best. But at the same time, even with that, I'm like, I don't really remember anyone other than Tina Charles hitting a field goal for Atlanta. That's how crazy this game was. I barely remember anyone not named Tina Charles even making a shot, which is, I mean, kind of crazy. But at the end of the day, the game's the game. The game is the game. Like, the refs are calling it the way they want, and like, it is what it is. At one stage, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, she had a pretty good game. Like, she shot efficiently. She hit 3 of her first 4 threes, went 4 of 8 though, so then hit 1 of her next 4. But she hit a couple of, like, big ones after her fouls. After certain situations, she hit some nice ones. So at least the crowd got to see her shoot the ball from 30 a few times. But it's really weird, the whistle that Caitlin Clark gets, because she gets away with the push-offs, but also the defensive players are getting away with two hand like hand checks, pushes. Like, if And I don't mind the game being called like that because it's like, if you're going to let people maul Caitlin Clark in the perimeter, you have to let Caitlin Clark push back. Like at one stage, the Dream lost it because Caitlin Clark tried the push off. And before she could make contact in the push off, the Dream player with two hands grabbed Caitlin Clark's arm. And you're like, yeah, Caitlin Clark is pushing off. But you also, it's completely disingenuous to say that she's not getting fouled every single time she touches the ball. Because, and I don't mind when refs just let it play. Like, but at the same time, if it can go one of two ways. Either you call the first foul when she gets double hand checked on her hip, or you let her push off. You can't, like, it is impossible to play offense in the sport of basketball if you are allowed double hand check, push people, grab their jerseys, grab them, and you don't give the offensive player room to maneuver or room to push back. So I don't really mind the way the refs are calling that, but they do let Caitlin Clark off with a lot of push-offs, but also they don't call a lot of the times when she does get grabbed and she does get kind of stopped going to the basket. But one thing I really liked with Caitlin Clark today is she did go for a couple of mid-ranges. They didn't go in, but she went for them. When she went downhill to the basket, down the stretch, anytime they needed a score, she just went downhill on her right side and got some layups. I do want to see her going to the basket going left at some stages, but look, that'll come with time. She's not a perfect player. She's not nearly the finished product. So that's going to get better over time. And I was really, really impressed by the game today. I've been really impressed by the Indiana Fever in general. Like, they're 7-1 against teams under 500. And you might be saying, oh, but like they can't win against the good teams. No bad team in the WNBA can win against the good teams. But the difference is that the Indiana Fever are younger than all the teams that they're coming up against. Like, they're younger than every other team. And as well as being younger, they're the best of the bad teams. Like, they're probably going to sneak into that 8 slot in the playoffs. In fact, they might even sneak into 7 over at the Atlanta Dream, depending on how Ryan Howard's injury is. And if they go and win this game, if they go 8-10 after 1-8 start, if they win this game against Chicago and they're on a roll, like, this is a team that is well and truly on a roll right now. So yeah, I'm looking at this team, and I would be, if I'm a Fever fan, I would be excited. If I'm a Fever player, I would be excited, because this is a team that young teams roll. Young teams start to win games. And this is a team where it's like, you've gotten Caitlin Clark, who her 3-point shooting isn't, or it's not going, she's not hitting it at the rate she did in college. Her scoring isn't translating, but her ability to just run the offense is translating. I don't care about the turnovers. She had 7 assists, 7 turnovers. I don't care. At least 3 of those turnovers were literally her just trying to advance the ball and her players fumbling the ball. I don't care about the turnovers. I'm watching this game because you're going to, when you are trying to create a tempo, as the year goes on, those turnovers are going to come down, especially because of the cause of the turnovers. When she over in the half court, cool. There was one turnover, she got fouled about 4 times. But like, if she commits a live ball turnover in half court and they get a layup, that's a bad turnover. If she commits a turnover off an inbound pass launching forward to somebody, and it's a good pass and they're just not expecting it and they fumble it, that is a turnover that is a problem later on. If that's a turnover that she's making in 2-3 years, it's a problem. But if that's a turnover that she's making early on in her career, it's fine, because the team are trying to adapt to Caitlin Clark just like she's trying to adapt to the team. I don't mind that. I really don't. I think her running the show allows this team to play at their best, which I really do like. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. Obviously, I'm not going to go too long. Shout out to Christy Wallace. Shout out to Christy Wallace. She actually put the ball in the basket today. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.